everyone, welcome. My name is Jude if you are new here. And this is an exciting day for me because today I'm going to have episode 1 of a new series that I'm doing on my channel. And this is called Catholic Connection. And I am so excited to introduce to you Kathleen Borsh. And she is from Knots of Grace. And welcome, Kathleen. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi, how are you?
Very good, thank you. And as we talked a few minutes before we went on, there's so many different platforms that you are on, and that's actually how I found you. I believe it was Instagram a few years ago. And then I went to some of your wonderful events that you do on Facebook and saw the many, many products that you have created. And I just love finding out about the origins too of how your business got started. But first, I just wanted to open it up and just let you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, great. Thank you so much. Yes, we're in a number of places, and I always say we, even though most of the time it's just me. But I'll tell you a little bit about the others that are involved in Knots of Grace too. So, thank you again for having me. This is so fun to be here with you.
You're welcome.
So a little bit about me. Originally, I'm from Tempe, Arizona, but we now live, at least for the last 22 years, we've lived in the northern Atlanta area in Georgia. And so I guess we're pretty much natives of Georgia now, since I've spent half my time there and half my time here, even though my heart's still in the West a little bit. So I am a wife of 25 years and a mother of a 16-year-old daughter. So they always come first. And so that is part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. So a little bit, I'll kind of go into that, kind of fast forward into how did Knots of Grace get started. I've always been crafting. My career, not my home career, but my out of office or out of home career. I spent 22, we'll just say 20 plus years in human resources management. And so I always had to have an outlet because there's a lot of stress going on there. And, my husband and I are great about talking about things and getting things moving through, but there's just a lot going on. So I had to have the stress reliever. So I've always been crafting. Beading has been something part of my life since I was in high school. My stepfather taught us all how to use wood and do woodworking. And we've worked with, we've painted, we've done just so many different things. And so jump forward, I needed to do some crafts. And then we took a couple years and we lived abroad. And I was fortunate enough to take a sabbatical from my career in human resources, and I enjoyed it. I had so much time with my daughter, so much time with my husband. It was great family time. And so when we returned to the States, I took 6 months, and then I decided it was time for me to go back into the workforce. Went back into the workforce, and I was just like, this doesn't feel right, and my daughter so before we left, she was in Catholic school. When we were gone, she was in a public school, but an international school. And then we came back, and she went back to the Catholic school, and I was very involved with the school. We did, lots of volunteering, and a friend of mine was in charge of a Secret Santa shop that we did for the kids every year. And when I say Secret Santa shop, it's not like there's a couple of little items. It is basically a storefront where there were 6 different women, I think, that used to go out and purchase products all year long, and then display them, and the kids would come in, and we would basically sell them for cost plus like $1 or something. And so they would come in and get the experience of shopping on their own for their family and all that. So super fun experience. But one of the products that was there was with these handmade door rosaries, and a woman used to make them. And so I found them when my daughter was in kindergarten. We took the one that I bought with us overseas, came back, and the woman that year that we came back was her last year, and she was retiring. She decided she didn't want to make them anymore. So she was retiring, and I just went, oh my gosh, these cannot go away. And so I bought all the ones that she had donated to the school. I bought all of them. And then so that I could kind of take them apart and learn how to make these. And some of them I gifted, of course, but then some I learned how to make. So I told my friend, because she said, I don't want these to go away either. Can you make them? And I said, yeah, I can figure this out. Give me a year. I'll figure this out so that they're nice and well done and ready for next year. So long story short, that's what happened. And as I was doing them, I was showing them my sister and showing them to some other friends. My sister posted it on Facebook, and then I got a few orders on Facebook, and then my friends decided that they wanted one. And so then it was just became one thing after another, right?
It's
And
a calling. It's a real calling. When something like that happens to you, and believe me, when I saw your door rosaries, and I'm a crafty person too. I love crafts. I've always done them too. But I thought, okay, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna see if I can do this. And I realized how difficult it was, how it really depended not only on the material that you use. I used something that didn't hold the knots, and the way that you make the knot. I mean, there was so much, and I really got a different, perspective on it. I mean, I feel I'm pretty good with crafts, but that
sure
one,
you are.
I just let an expert like you do it right the first time, because I probably would get so frustrated. I'd do a comparison all the time. Not right. So, yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Thank you so much. No, and I appreciate that, because what I make, you could make too. Now the crosses that I'm now making, sure, you could make them, but you'd have to figure out where I sourced all the things and, my process and all that kind of stuff. But like you said, it's a calling. And I actually think that I have two ministries. My first ministry was in human resources, and I still do it, a little bit here and there, because it's still part of my heart. But this is my next, my second career, my next ministry. And so, when I started making these, it was for the school primarily. And then, then my friend said, you need to go and, find a craft show. So then I started the craft show circuit, and I love that. That's like my favorite part of the year, because I get to go see people. I get to see what they like. I get to, meet them and get to show them what I'm making. And then it brings on even more creativity, because I'm sitting there talking with them, and they're telling me their stories, and then I get to share they share their stories, and then I share my stories. I can't remember if I said that right. And just explaining what these are for. And so yes, you can pray with, here, since we're talking about it, the door rosary.
Good. Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
So this is one of our customer favorites. I only have a few of these crosses left in stock, but this one is one of our customer favorites. So you can pray with it. It's a single decade with our Father knot. But what the intention is a reminder. It's a huge, not huge, but compared to your smaller rosary, little beads. I have them up on the wall over there that I won't stand up. But compared to that, it's a much larger thing. And so if it's on your door and you're walking in and out throughout the day, it's a reminder for you to stop, take a minute, go, okay, I know I'm rushing out to work this morning, but let me take a minute for God.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I have seen many of your other videos talking about what great gifts that makes. And the particular one that I watched this morning was about, your college-age children going, or even an adult child moving into a new house or something like that. Having that reminder there, it's a visual reminder that, and as you mentioned, for a college student, maybe they, would feel a little, uncomfortable
awkward,
or just a little awkward about some, real bold sign. But so I like that, and I like the fact that that as a matter of fact, I read this, and I wanted to ask you about it. You had mentioned in our talk about your father-in-law,
Yes.
and that he is an integral part of the knots, right? Making the knots in a lot of your creations.
Yes, yes. So he moved in with us in 2016, a couple years into Knots of Grace. And so at that time, because I was working outside the home, I would tie knots at night while we're watching TV. Well, he would watch me do this. And then one night he said, show me how you're doing that. And so I said, okay. And so he, I showed him how to do it. And so then it became this game, like who can tie a better knot and who can tie 10 knots faster than the other person. And so I have to say I'm still a little bit faster, but he has become my chief knot tire because for a couple reasons. One, he wants to do it. Two, it helps keep him active. And I mean, I just love the fact that he is so willing to be part of my business. So if he is willing to help me do that, and he just loves it. He's a perfectionist by nature. So if I say that the knots need to be this far apart, he is going to make sure that they are only that far apart. So it's a lot of fun.
He's very detail orientated, and you could use that in your production line. I mean,
Yes.
That's wonderful. I'm so excited always to learn about the origins. And you said it took you about a year to really put all of the facets together about the key items that you have. Are there any other items that you have brought to show to us today?
Sure. Yeah, I actually have several. So as I said, when a lot of my ideas will come when I'm talking with others, or they'll come when I'm just experiencing life. And one of my experiencing life moments is in the car. So you're spending here in Atlanta during not prior COVID times, but during times of now, and you're driving maybe 20 minutes or an hour in your car to get to and from work. One day I just felt like I needed to have my rosary. I don't feel that way a whole lot in my car, but this one day I really needed it. And so I'm digging in my purse and I'm thinking to myself, I am going to get in a wreck if I keep doing this, even though I was trying to do it just at a stoplight or whatever. It was just a little bit unnerving. So once I got done with that, I ended up finding it without causing a wreck. But I said, I have to figure out a way to have your beads in your car, your rosary in your car, accessible so that you're not causing an accident. And so a couple of things came of that. One was this, and it looks like a bracelet, and actually you can wear it as a bracelet, but it's a single decade for your steering wheel. And so it's my steering wheel rosary. So they have just a decorative cross on it and a miraculous medal on the other side. And then I make them with different colored beads. These happen to be a white halite bead there. But it's there on your steering wheel.
So it's expandable. It'll open up and then you'll be able to just, oh, I see. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, so it's what's called memory wire. And I will tell you that this is one of the most painful things to make because the beads just keep moving around, but that's the beauty of it. And so this summer, my daughter will be making a lot of these while she is, in between her lacrosse programs and cross-country training and all of that. So
another family member involved with Knots of Grace.
Yes, so she has started helping me tie knots last summer to help with Bill, and then she decided she liked doing the beadwork. So I said, okay, I would love for you to help me with this. So she's going to be making steering wheel rosaries this summer for me.
That's terrific. Yeah. And I know she was part of when you do your lives, your shows, and you need somebody to really handle the comments coming in and the things like that. And I know you mentioned your daughter kind of looking out for and running that aspect of your live streams. So That's wonderful. I love it. And I love the fact that, because I know, like you said, we're all in our car a long time, we're in a traffic jam or whatever. And that way, obviously, you have your hands on the wheel and
Yes.
you're able just still to feel the beats as you go along. So that's a very clever idea.
And then I'll just show you this other one really quick because customers do like this. This is one for the rear view mirror. So a lot of times you'll see people have, full rosary around their rear view mirror. Well, for me, that was distracting.
Yes.
And so I created, this was actually by a customer who liked my smaller door rosaries. So I have smaller door rosaries, and she asked me at one of the shows, she said, this won't fit over, like, without the clip, it wouldn't fit over your rearview mirror. She said, I want one for my husband for Christmas. Would you try and figure out how to do that? And so I said, okay, why not? Let me try and figure it out. So I took a couple of days, figured it out. She ended up buying 3 of them. And the next thing, more and more people liked them. And I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's just, it's just something different. And even my father-in-law, when I made the first one, he said, where's mine? So, I mean, I don't know.
Yes, yes.
For me, that is the key. If he said, where's mine? That's a big deal to me.
Well, a lot of these items are so unique. I'm just taking a look at your website, which I want everyone to know about. That is the go-to place for information about you,
Yes.
knotsofgrace.com. And you have door rosaries like you had shown, and you have pocket and purse rosaries. I'm just reading a few things: bookmarks, full rosaries, jewelry and keychains. And so take a look at the shop, because that'll give you a whole list of all your wonderful items. And of course, tell us a little bit about, you have a blog as well.
Yes.
And you have the VIP membership. Tell us a little bit about the VIP membership.
So the VIP membership, that is, if you join our VIP membership, you would just go to knotsofgracevip.com, and what you get immediately is you'll get an email from me once you sign up. And once you have that email, in that first email, you'll get a discount code. And the discount code gives you 12% off at knotsofgrace.com and in our Etsy shop at knotsofgracereceived.com. Both of those shops, you can get 12% off year round. And I do that, and the 12% is for the 12 disciples, just so you guys know. So
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to ask you, is there a significance about the 12? So that's really neat how that ties in.
Yeah, it was funny because I was getting some coaching, and the coach was saying do 11% or do something else, and I'm like, no, 12. 12's the number. I mean, so yes, it's 12% all year long, and so that way, you can use it. You don't have to wait for a promotion that's going on or anything, because life happens when it happens. And you need a gift when you need a gift. And so if you're part of the VIP group, you get a newsletter from me every month of what's going on. And usually it's the first or the second Thursday of the month. And so you get an email from me, and it's very long. I will tell you, my newsletter is very long, and it's because it only comes out once a month. But inside the newsletter, it'll be what's happening for the month. You'll get all the dates. You'll get what feast days, like significant feast days that are happening that month. If you forgot, you can have those for your calendar, plus any events that we're having on our Facebook page or YouTube or wherever. I'll have those there. And then if there's special promotions, I try and give a little bit extra to my VIPs than I do to the general public. So there is a benefit for that. And then I try and get all new products sneak peek to the VIPs first before I release them to the public as well. So there's just like a little bit of that behind the scenes that I try and do a little bit more for my VIPs than I do for everyone else. And it's just such a beautiful community too. I'm getting to know more of the group more, and it's very sweet.
It is when you can, and I know from the different platforms that I'm involved in too, when people, on a first name basis, and you might not have even met them actually in person, but you feel there's a connection there already, like I felt with you, Kathleen. I just love your weekly inspirations.
Oh, good.
Check out Kathleen's YouTube channel, and I'll link all of her links in the description of this when I am done, so that you will be able to connect with her. But I love that. I watch today's, every Monday she comes out with another message, and it's doable. It's like 3 minutes long, so you can fit it into your schedule. And I like Why Not Craft with Kathleen. That's wonderful. She has a craft challenge. She's been doing that, like a 30-day craft challenge. So I always love to see what she's doing. And I don't want to forget that she had just become a designer with My Chalk Couture, a designer, right? You're a chalk couture designer, Kathleen.
Correct. Yes, that's something brand new, and it was a way for me to tie in my love of painting and all of that with something else. And so I was just going to use it for my own benefit, and I thought, you know what, why not share it and add that to, if someone else wants to join in with it, I would love to have them be part of it. But it's really, it's just something that I found really enjoyable, and I wanted to share.
I love it. I had never heard about it, and then I looked it up, and I just think it's a great idea. As a DIYer that I am too, I just love the fact that you get a lot of these items all ready to go, and so they have a lot of different things that you could choose from. So I'll leave the link.
If you can see behind me, there's a couple of them in the way back too. So
Kathleen, I wanted to ask you a little bit about just some brief questions about your Catholic faith. The first question I have is, what's your favorite devotion?
So do you want to see my notes?
Oh.
You probably can't read them. So I wrote down all my favorite devotions, and most of what I do, it has to be simple in order for it to be effective and for something for me to do on a regular basis. And so the simplest one is just wearing my miraculous medal. It's one that was gifted to me, actually, or maybe I took it from my mom. I can't remember, but I know I got it from my mom. But wearing that is just a simple devotion.
Love the miraculous medal.
There you go. Yeah, mine's a long one that
There's
I
so
wear
many different medals. This one someone gave me, and it just kind of opens up, and I have another one that's just a little different. So I just love the variation.
They're so unique. They really are. So that's the simple one, and then the one you mentioned. So the weekly hugs devotion. Now this is a Christian devotion, just a general Christian devotion. But it's a beautiful way to start the day with a theme and a Bible verse. And I love quotes, and so quotes from the Bible, quotes from people, and they really help guide. They're guideposts for me. So that's a big deal. And then, well, obviously praying the rosary. I don't do it as often as I'd like, but that's why I make the things I make, so that you can get a single decade in at some point, and then by the end of the day, you'll get 5 of them in, and you'll feel like you did something.
And that's what I try to convey when I'm on my live streams or when I'm talking on my videos, is not the fact that you have to be just an exercise, because I do teach exercise as well. So it's not the fact of the duration. It's it's being able to put quality in maybe the time that you have available.
Right.
So I love that.
I
Now,
agree.
another question I have for you is, who is your go-to saint?
So it has to be Teresa of Calcutta, Mother Teresa. I have a book right next to my
I have
desk.
that book.
I know you do. I've seen you've had this book. I love this
Wonderful.
book because, again, it's another daily teaching,
Mhm.
and I've had she's just an inspiration. I mean, an inspiration to be selfless,
Mhm.
to love when it doesn't make sense,
Right.
and
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's just a big deal. Yeah, so
Perfect.
she would be my go-to.
Great. A great one. Great one. And this one kind of reflects on what we've been through over this past year. How has living through a pandemic changed your outlook on life?
This is funny because what I wrote down is, and then I started thinking about it more. And I'm going to tell you what I didn't write down, because this is truly what has come through the pandemic, is realizing that everybody's hurting in some way. And not to get sad or depressed or anything like that, but everyone has something that they're working through all the time. And if you can find a little light in the day, then it's a big deal. And so, you know, we've all just witnessed so much pain through all the different things through the pandemic that we've experienced. And then coming out of the pandemic now, I mean, there's still a lot of pain. And so just knowing that everyone's going through something, and if you can take a step back and try and be light for that person.
That's beautiful. That's the message of Christ. That is living the gospel. You're right. Seeing beyond yourself to
I
someone
got a little
else.
choked up, sorry.
Oh, no, that's grace, grace-filled moments. That's beautiful, beautiful. And the last question I have for you is, who was or is your greatest faith influence?
So it would be my mom. She was my teacher, not only in the house, in the home, but also at church. She was my CCD teacher. I don't know how many times, but I know that she was she was my teacher when I was confirmed, and then I'm sure a couple times before that too. And so she was a big part of my growth and faith development. And then as an adult though, so she and my siblings have had an on and off relationship with the church, and all believe in Jesus and God, but the actual church has been on and off. And so I've had to look elsewhere because it's been hard. You know, I still feel connected to the church, and when they step away, it was very, very difficult. And so I had to look to others, and, you know, looking to, you know, your inspiration. Matthew Kelly's been a big part to just the messages that of just being real. And, you know, you don't have to, there's no pedestal that we all have to be on. And I think that's the biggest thing, is just saying, you know what, here's the foundation, and let's all live within it and figure this out one step at a time.
Right.
And so it's a continuous, who is my inspiration. My and a big one that I just told you about offline are my friends who have converted to the Catholic faith. The fact that they know so much about our faith that I either didn't learn or just don't remember.
Right.
It helps me just dive deeper and want to learn more, because they chose this along their path. So they're a big inspiration for me.
Yes, that's beautiful. I love the way you answer that, because that's true. That they chose it, and I think a lot of us, to be honest about it, we were raised as little ones, and God bless, your mom, my mom was instrumental. My grandmother was instrumental in the foundation of my faith. But I think, you know, we just have to keep that fire burning, and we have to, you know, just ask the Holy Spirit to come upon us and, you know, help us through the journey too, so that it's a lifelong journey. And I that's what I really love about you, Kathleen, because I just love to listen to you. Like I said, I really encourage everyone to tap into all your different platforms, because you are such a positive person. And when I see you and I hear you speak, it's just like I've known you a long time. It's like, you know, just knowing you, because you're so real, you're so open. So thank you so much, Kathleen, for joining us today. And friends, I hope that you have enjoyed the first of a new series. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, peace and love.